wonderful Ames mansion that is now Donahue Hall here at Stonehill College. It's just a remarkable facility, and I don't mind waiting because there's just so much great networking that goes on here at this event. So good evening, I'm Chris Cooney. It's my pleasure to welcome you here to our 28th annual legislative reception at Stonehill College. Fran will tell you that he's been here for all of them, and it's very much thanks to him that we are here. So let's have a round of applause. This annual event remains a constant in an ever-changing world of candidates and politicians and topics. Tonight's a great opportunity to meet in this wonderful building in a really casual atmosphere. A lot of the elected officials tell me this is their favorite event of the year because they're not asked to speak. They can just talk to people informally. They can network and they can enjoy themselves and not have to feel like they're on the defensive. With that said, we want you to talk with them as business people, and we want you to convey to them the importance of their service, your appreciation for their service, but also the issues and items that will strengthen you as businesses, which will strengthen us as a society and as a regional economy, especially around issues like infrastructure, right? It's not exciting to talk about, but I talked to several people here tonight from industrial parks in the area. If Brockton were only to expand that sewerage to a couple of the industrial parks in the area, it would expand diversification of jobs, both on the short term in construction and then long term in terms of a greater diversity of industries. It also would increase the value of the property and the buildings on that site. In some cases, it would quadruple the ability of the landmass to build on, because right now those are septic systems that take up leaching fields, right? And Carol Bowman's here. She knows a little bit about septic systems. That in homes, they take up a lot of space, right? And an industrial park, that has a set aside so that people can't expand their businesses because they have a third or sometimes a half of their lot dedicated to sewerage. Or it may be a regional issue around Route 24. It's still a state highway. It functions as an interstate. An issue like that could impact safety along Route 24. It could upgrade our ramps and that type of thing. These are the types of issues. Workforce, we're talking about now the expansion of life sciences and biotech designations for the communities along Route 24 so that they're pre-positioned to accept companies that are ready to do manufacturing, that need water and need workers, which we have an abundance of in the Brockton area. Or workforce issues. We have Massasoit here, we have Bridgewater State University here. Issues that regionally impact us greater and will continue to impact us greater than any other time in our lives. This is the first year Massachusetts will shrink overall in population. We have been bolstered in the last decade by immigration. We've had, for the last decade, more people dying than being born in Massachusetts. We've been bolstered, our numbers have been bolstered just barely by immigration, and that has waned a bit. We expect that there'll be a big push from Puerto Rico. We think Massachusetts will be a destination for a lot of Puerto Rican families. I know, talking to the superintendent on Friday, we met talking about an influx coming into the school system in Brockton and probably a lot of the surrounding towns. So these are regional opportunities. These are issues that will be strengthened by us working together and collaboratively and thinking more as us as a region competing against other regions in the state, New England, and the country. So thank you for indulging me on that. Before I introduce our MC tonight, I do want to introduce a very special person. He's been here only 3 days, and I told him I was going to do this. Doug Luckett is the new president of Good Samaritan Medical Center. Good Samaritan, in case you don't know, is the largest private employer in our region. They represent the largest industry in our entire region, which is healthcare, right? And they are the largest taxpayer now as a private hospital group in Brockton. And Doug has just been appointed 3 days ago. We're very happy that he's here with us. I know a lot of people want to meet him and talk with him. Doug, can you just give us a raise your hand? When I think of dedicated public servants and when I think of real true Brocktonians and people who are public civically minded. One of the first people that come to mind is Ray Ledoux. Ray Ledoux is our chair of legislative affairs. He also is administrator of the Brockton Regional Transit Authority, and he's going to take it from here. Ray?
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. And a little bit about Doug for a second. When I walked in, Chris made sure that I was introduced to Doug, and Doug comes by way of Alabama, Florida, I think Tennessee, and I want you to know that we got him in the corner and we already worked him over, and he's going to leave here saying, awesome, wicked good pizza. And welcome. If you're like me at all, you can't escape what we're seeing in the news and we're experiencing and observing through the tragedies of Las Vegas, the hurricanes in Texas, Louisiana, Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, the Virgin Islands, and the catastrophe in Puerto Rico, and all of the things that we're hearing about and the struggles and the discord sometimes in Washington. But tonight is about the Metro South. And really tonight is about our little world and all that you can do as elected officials and public servants, town managers, agency heads here to make this region better. The region, we have 300,000 residents here, a very diverse population of workforce, a very diverse business climate with some great institutions of healthcare, institutions for higher learning, great volunteers, people who have lived here their entire lives, and people, as Chris has said, are starting to emigrate here. So we can't thank you enough as elected officials to be here tonight, but there's a challenge for you to keep doing good and for you to try to keep doing better, because we are all relying on you for great stewardship, great leadership, and great motivation. So I'd like to give you all a round of applause and thanks from the chamber and from the bottom of my heart. We're also pleased to have a great host, and that is in Stonehill College and our Vice President of Advancement, or the Vice President of Advancement, Fran Dillon. And I've been involved with the chamber for a number of years, and Fran has as well. But Fran has been here, he graduated here in 1970. And if you can remember the campus in 1970, not imagining Fran walking around, I don't want to imagine that, but imagine the buildings, the campus, the academic buildings here, the science buildings, the sports buildings, the dorms that weren't here. Fran has made an indelible mark while being here, and I know that just check your pockets before you leave, but he has done an unbelievable job of making connections here for the benefit of Stonehill and the region. And Fran, you've been here so long and have made so many accomplishments. If this were England, you would be knighted and we'd call you sir. But being in an institution of the Holy Cross Fathers, are you able to give out any sacraments? Because absolutely. I might need absolution. So please welcome Fran.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you, altogether, counting the 4 years I was a student, it's 48 years, and it's been just a great run to see what's happened at this campus since I arrived in 1966. I was going to tell you I arrived with the Ames family from England when Brockton was known as North Bridgewater, but some of you might believe that. So. But it's always a pleasure for us here at Stonehill to host this event, because it's bringing together the business community with our elected officials who every day represent the interests of their town, their region, their city. And I don't know, especially in these days, whether you get enough thanks from your constituents for just being there and listening to us and responding to us. Tip O'Neill said, all politics is local. I think today we can change that expression to say, all politics that is effective is local. So we rely on you to make sure that our communities continue to grow and strengthen and get better for all of the people of the Metro South region. So how about a round of applause for all those people? And it is an exciting time at Stonehill, especially today. If you get a chance, you can look at two buildings that are on these posters over here. We broke ground a short time ago for our new Academic and Welcome Center. And that's going to be a spectacular building. And I just want you to know that not just for this event, but when the Chamber has the need for space, as we grow this campus out, there'll be more opportunities to host you for all kinds of programs over here at the college. We had a topping off ceremony last Friday, which was very exciting, where we lifted the last steel, well, I didn't lift the last steel, the ironworkers did, and it had an American flag, a Stonehill flag, a POW flag, and a tree on top of the beam, along with a huge banner for the ironworkers. But it was just exciting, and we had a signing of the beam all day on Friday. And when they lifted the beam at around 4:30, there wasn't an inch of space on that beam. Most students that came to that event didn't even know what a topping ceremony was. As a matter of fact, many of our faculty didn't, but it was just exciting to see them all sign that beam and watch it being lifted up as the last piece of steel to go in that building. When our brief winter, this coming winter is going to be brief, when the fields melt, we'll be breaking ground for our new Leo Meehan School of Business at Stonehill. It'll be directly in front of this building at the back of the quad. It'll be a great, tremendous addition to the campus, not only for our students, but again, a great place for business leaders to come and exchange ideas. Students will be doing research and all kinds of work for the greater Brockton area, the Metro South area. So it's another opportunity for us to engage even more fully with this community. So it's going to be a pleasure to introduce those facilities to you. So that's all I have to say this evening. Again, for 28 years in a row, it's a pleasure to welcome you back. And I'm not the only one in the room that has been here for 28 straight years. Am I right, Dr. Cretin?
You are correct.
So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the night.
What Fran doesn't know is I do know of a conversation you had with the president once. And Fran went up to the president and said, Father, how long did it take you to, he knows. How long did it take you to be able to be trained and issue the sacrament of matrimony? Matrimony. And Father thought for a second, well, after studies and prayer for maybe 7 years, and Fran said, I think I've got that beat. 45 minutes and I was a justice of the peace. You didn't know I knew that.
I didn't know you knew that.
Okay. Well, I have the distinct pleasure of announcing or welcoming all of the elected officials that are here, or who are here, and those who have registered. And some have already come and some have gone. And so what I'm going to do is read the names of those individuals who registered and who are here. If you can hold your applause, we'll give you all a standing ovation after. Well, wait a minute, you're all standing already, so that's an easy one. So I'm just going to read the names of everyone who agreed to come tonight and who are here. From the State Senate, we have Senator Michael Brady and Al DiGeronimo, and Senator Mark Pacheco is registered and may be coming. From our legislative delegation, we have Representative Jerry Cassidy, Representative Claire Cronin, Representative Kiko Oral, Representative Matthew Moritor, Representative Tom Coulter. And from the Plymouth County, we have John Buckley, Registrar of Deeds, Robert Creedon, former senator but clerk of courts, Matt McDonough, Plymouth County Register of Probate, Timothy Cruz, our district attorney for Plymouth County, and Sandra Wright, Plymouth County Commissioner. Representing the city of Brockton, I know that the mayor may be coming, Mayor Bill Carpenter, if he's not already here, Ann Beauregard, city councilor who was here and left, Jack Lally, city councilor, Robert Sullivan, who was here earlier, city councilor, Shanna Barnes. We have Kathleen Smith, the superintendent of schools, Jimmy Pereira, candidate for mayor. Timothy Sullivan, Brockton School Committee. Representing some of the towns that we have in the Metro South area, Robert Brady, Board of Selectmen from the town of Avon. Francis Crimmins, Town of Avon Administrator. Brian Barthelmy's, Chairman, Hanover Board of Selectmen. Emmanuel Docker, Selectman, Town of Hanover. Troy Clarkson, Town Manager, Hanover. Laura Fitzgerald Kemet, Board of Selectmen, Hanson. Michael McHugh, Town Administrator from Hanson. Frank Lynham, Whitman Town Administrator. Lisa Green, Assistant Town Administrator for Whitman. Dan Salvucci, Vice Chairman of the Board of Selectmen for the Town of Whitman. Scott Lambiasi, Selectman, Town of Whitman. Randy Lamatina, Selectman, Town of Whitman. Is anybody in Town of Whitman tonight? Ryan Bazanson, Selectman, Town of Whitman. Dr. Carl Kalowski, Chairman, Town of Whitman.
We're well represented.
I guess. So Frank, someone else, Frank Haggerty, not from Whitman. Chairman, Town of Avon. Edward Haley, Vice President, Chancellor, Counselor at Large, Town of Bridgewater. Sean George, Town Council, Town of Bridgewater. Anthony Kanahan, Board of Selectmen, Vice Chairman, West Bridgewater. Alex Bazanson, Selectman, Town of Abington. Dottie Fulcinetti, Board of Selectmen, Easton. Connor Reed, Town Administrator, Town of Easton. Craig Barger, Selectman, Town of Easton. Dan Murphy, Chair of the Board of Selectmen, Town of Easton. Jason Adams, Counselor at Large, Town of Randolph. Mark Lindy, Southeastern Vocational Technical High School Committee. And representing the Massachusetts Office of Business Development, Regional Director, Dick Dalton. Whew. Okay, so if we could give everybody a round of applause. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And if you're not from Whitman, just one housekeeping announcement. On November 15th, we will have. We forgot the chief. The chief. Oh, he's not. Is he here? No. Okay. On November 15th, we will have our 104th annual meeting of the Chamber of Commerce at Massasoit Community College, the Conference Center, and it will also be our expo. We welcome all of you. The seats go very quickly and very early, so we welcome you to make your reservations early, and I want to congratulate everybody for being here, and please stay and mix it up. Thank you very much.